Fala, meu povo, tudo bem com vocês? E vamos ver o que a mídia gringa lá tá falando sobre Lucas Paquetá, tá? Hoje saiu a absolvição, né, de Lucas Paquetá, mas os gringos estão fazendo várias perguntas em relação a essa absolvição. Se liga aí, vamos curtir o vídeo agora.
Significant breaking news this hour on the future of West Ham midfielder Lucas Paquetá, and in particular those betting charges that have been under investigation since August 2023. Lucas Paquetá has been cleared of misconduct charges made against him by the Football Association for alleged breaches. Just to remind you of what they were, accused of 4 spot-fixing offences in Premier League games against Leicester, Aston Villa, Leeds and Bournemouth. He's been under investigation since March 2023. He was charged with breaching betting rules in May 2024, and the hearing has been ongoing since March. Let's bring you a statement from West Ham, who have said the club has stood by Lucas since the start of a long and difficult process. West Ham United Vice Chair Karen Brady has said, "We are pleased Lucas has been cleared. He has maintained his innocence from the outset, and as a club, we have resolutely stood by him and supported him throughout the process." Despite the incredible pressure on him, Lucas has performed week in, week out for the club, always giving everything. It has been a difficult time for Lucas and his family, but he has remained absolutely professional throughout and is now looking forward to drawing a line under this episode, as is everyone at West Ham United. You're at the moment looking at some of the incidents that Lucas Paquetá was charged with in terms of betting offences. In terms of a statement from the player, he says, Paquetá, since the first day of this investigation, I have maintained my innocence against these extremely serious accusations. I can't say anything more at this time, but I would like to express how grateful I am to God and how eager I am to return to playing football with a smile on my face. To my wife, who never let go of my hand, to West Ham United, to the fans who always cheered me on, and to my family, friends and the legal team who have supported me, thank you for everything. So just remind you of that breaking news this hour, that the West Ham midfielder Lucas Paquetá has been cleared of all misconduct charges made against him by the FA for alleged breaches.
Yes, West Ham Network. So as we said, it's good news. Lucas Paquetá has been cleared of those spot fixing charges. If you're new around here, make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on the whole Paquetá saga down below in the comments. But it brings up a lot of questions and a lot of discussions to be had around the whole innocent before being proven guilty side of things. So we're just going to read through one of the articles that is on the Evening Standard at the moment and just have a little chat about it. So like I said, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you've subscribed so you never have to miss an update. So as we know, in May last year, he was charged by the FA, and then that has to be investigated and you're either found guilty or innocent. And this was because it was thought that he was trying to influence the betting markets by getting his cards. But these have not been proven in the case. And he has been found, like I said, to have failed to comply with the investigation, but he has denied that. So this is an interesting part in terms of whether or not he was useful in the investigation or whether he sort of dragged his heels a bit. So that's what he has been found guilty of. He actually had a comment. He said, since the first day of this investigation, I've maintained my innocence against these extremely serious accusations. I can't say anything more at this time, but I would like to express how grateful I am to God and how eager I am to return to playing football with a smile on my face. To my wife, who never let go of my hand, to West Ham United, to the fans who always cheered me on, and to my family, friends and the legal team who've supported me, thank you for everything. So that's a very nice statement, to be honest. And there's been a lot of discussion going on around, first of all, Graham Potter talking about Paquetá still being a really good person in the dressing room, still staying focused despite everything going on. But the hope from fans and the hope from me personally is that without this whole saga looming over his head, he's going to be able to perform a lot better. And we therefore don't need to accept any reduced bids for him. And he's saying thank you to West Ham. It looks as though he is grateful to the club for sticking by him, grateful for the fans for never turning their backs despite the accusations. And it's almost like a new stage of his football career where he could potentially go on and do really good things at West Ham and get back to his best, because we know he's got that in his locker. We know he's been so good for us. So the charges that he was being investigated for, they were between November 2022 and August 2023. And they were basically saying he was affecting the betting market with his actions on the pitch, as we know. And at the time, he said that he was shocked and he was really surprised and upset by the FA's decision. But the Independent Regulatory Commission Commission on Thursday have basically come to this conclusion. We obviously waited a while as well, because that was another point that sort of brings up how dragged out this whole saga's been. Even once there was a verdict, it's taken a very long time to be actually made public. So what is going to be an interesting debate is that while he's been found innocent, it means that there's been no evidence that he's done the things that he was accused of. The FA have said that he has not provided the necessary information when requested during the investigation process. They have said Lucas Paquetá was charged with 2 breaches of FA Rule F3 in relation to alleged failures to comply with his obligations to answer questions and provide information to the FA's investigation. Lucas Paquetá denied the charges against him, but the Regulatory Commission found them to be proven following the hearing. The Regulatory Commission will decide an appropriate sanction for these breaches at the earliest opportunity. The earliest opportunity is one of those where, again, we're not going to know whether that's in a year or 2. But it's a big shame that when he hasn't done anything in the eyes of the law, he's been proven to be innocent, but the actual investigation side of it, it sounds as though he wasn't providing things. There were rumours, obviously, about him not providing his phone at the right time or something like that. And I assume that that is what this is linked to. But it feels like a real shame if he's then going to be given a sanction for taking too long to provide whatever they needed for something that he was then proven innocent of. However, that is where we find ourselves. I wonder what this could mean in terms of where he goes next, because if I'm another club looking on and still knowing that there is a sanction coming for him not complying with an investigation, my worry is that that could be a relatively lengthy ban potentially, which might again either drop his value or put other clubs off wanting him. But I spoke about this in my video the other day. I want us to keep Paquetá. I know that he is a talented player. Deep down, I know that with everything going on, his form's dropped. But whose form wouldn't? Like, imagine trying to focus at work when you're being accused of what he's been accused of and basically told that everything you've worked for your entire life, you might never play football again. So imagine keeping your eyes on the ball, training well, resting, recovering, all the things you need to do to play at the top level of football. How on earth can you do that with all that going on? I would hope that he's spoken about being grateful to West Ham for sticking by him. I feel like he wants to prove himself, and I would love to see Paquetá in claret and blue, or more claret, because there's not much blue on the shirt, is there, next season? But actually just prove everyone what he's capable of still. Because when he has played at his best, he's been fun, exciting, confident, and it just felt like we saw all those things wiped out of him over the last season or so. And with that, the dip in form, and obviously with that comes frustration from fans. So I would love to see him do really well at West Ham. And then at the end of next season, whether he's played incredibly and he wants to go elsewhere and we make a profit that way, or whether we go, you know what, we tried it, because we don't want to be parting with him for 30, 40, 50 mil. There've been reports that we'll be holding out for 60, which is music to my ears. But which clubs will pay 60 for a player that is apparently still going to be actually charged with failing to comply with an investigation? I don't even know what that looks like in terms of how long he might be out for something like that. So that brings up a whole new challenge in terms of trying to sell him, because you're still trying to sell what is essentially a tainted player who hasn't done anything wrong, as this investigation has found, other than maybe not helping during that investigation. So it's definitely a complicated one. The main thing, though, is he has been proven innocent. The spot fixing charges are not guilty, which means that he's not going to be getting that lifetime ban. He's not completely going to be written off. And yeah, he didn't do it. Lucas Paquetá is innocent, which I'm delighted to say.
Galera, então vocês viram aí, né? Lucas Paquetá foi absolvido, né? Foi inocentado aí. É assim, ó, é meio complicado porque o que acontece? O Lucas Paquetá aí não vai ser banido mais do futebol, tá? Mas ainda parece que pode sofrer alguma restrição lá. A gente não sabe se por um jogo, alguns jogos, a gente não tem ainda essa ideia, tá? Eles também nem conseguem explicar direito lá, já que eles são da Inglaterra. Mas é isso, gente. Eu acho que, pelo menos em relação à questão das apostas lá, parece que realmente foi absolvido, né? Foi inocentado. Mas parece que, pelas aquelas questões do Lucas Paquetá na hora, não ter entregado o celular, essas coisas aí, pode ser que sofra alguma sanção. A gente não sabe se é um valor, uma multa que ele vai ter que pagar, ou alguns jogos que ele pode deixar de jogar. Vamos esperar para ver, mas à primeira vista, assim, pelo menos ele tá inocentado, tá bom? Galera, peço para você se inscrever no nosso canal, deixar o like, peço também que você compartilhe esse vídeo. Muito obrigado por tudo, fica com Deus, valeu!